Hello everyone, my name is Bapi Hamed and welcome to this video. In this video, we'll be discussing about the complete generative AI end-to-end pipeline. And now you can ask me what is end-to-end pipeline of generative AI. No need to worry, I will explain each and everything, what is pipeline and all, and why pipeline is super important whenever you are working in the generative AI field. See, it's not like that whenever you are getting some problem statement from your company, whenever let's say you are receiving the data, it's not like that you will be directly applying the model on top of it. Before applying the model, we have to perform some specific task, okay? And those step-by-step task is called pipeline. So you can see generative AI pipeline is a set of steps followed to build an end-to-end Gen AI software, okay? That means here you will be breaking the problem statement into several sub-problems. Then you will be trying to develop a step-by-step procedure to solve them. And here you can see, since language processing is involved, okay, inside generative AI, so we would also list all the forms of text processing needed at each step. This step-by-step processing of the text is known as a pipeline. Okay, that means whenever you are getting any kinds of problem statement from the company, first of all, break that problem statement in a several sub problems. Okay, then try to solve one by one. And to solve that, you have to perform some steps. Okay, you have to perform some steps. And those steps is called actually pipelines. Okay, pipelines inside generative AI. Now let's see one end-to-end pipelines actually we have to follow for all the projects we'll be developing in futures. See, in generative AI pipeline, we are having, these are the steps we have to follow. The first step actually we have to follow the data acquisition, because here data is everything, right? At the end, you have to work with the data here. So first of all, you have to get the data, and these steps falls into data acquisition part. Okay, then after that data acquisition, we have to perform something called data preparation. Okay, what is data preparation? I will let you know. That means here you will be doing the cleaning of your data. Okay, after that you will be starting with something called feature engineering. Inside feature engineering, there are so many steps you can follow. Like, so the main step actually you'll be doing inside feature engineering called text representation. That means you will represent your text to the vector, that means number, so that your model can take the input. Then after that, you'll be doing the modeling. Then you have to select different model and you have to feed the data there. Okay, this is the idea. After modeling, what you have to do, you have to evaluate that particular model, because unless and until you are not evaluating the model on top of test data, you won't be able to decide whether this particular model is suitable for our production or not. Okay, then once let's say you got your let's say production model, what you can do, you can do the deployment of your model. You can host your model so that other people can use your model. Okay, other user can use your model and they can give the feedback. Okay, based on the feedback, last step what you can do, you can perform monitoring and model updating. That means you have to monitor, you have to keep on monitoring your application. Like I think you saw the ChatGPT, right? So previously I think you saw in ChatGPT, whenever let's say you are giving any kinds of prompt, so it will give you one actually, let's say input form. It will tell you, are you enjoying this ChatGPT, or any kinds of feedback you want to give or not. So there actually they were taking the input in real time. Okay, this is called actually monitoring. Okay, monitoring their application. That means they're monitoring whether this application is working fine or not in the production. If something going wrong in the application, if let's say user is giving negative feedback, that time what they will do, they will try to update this model again. Okay, this is the idea. So it's not like that you are only building your model, you are only deploying your model. It's not like that. You have to monitor the model in production, and based on the feedback, you have to keep on updating the model itself. Okay, this is the complete idea. And these are the steps involved inside the generative AI pipeline. I hope it is clear. Now let's break down all the, let's say, pipeline steps one by one and try to understand what we have to do in each and every step. The first step was actually data acquisition. So inside data acquisition, you can follow some step to collect your data. So the first thing you have to check whether you have available data or not. So available data. Available data means, let's say you are having a CSV file directly, you are having, let's say, text file, you are having, let's say, PDF documents, you are having docs documents. Then you might also have something called Excel SX. Okay. So if you have, these are the files. Apart from, if you have any other file format, it's completely fine. But first of all, you have to check whether you have available data or not. Okay, this is the idea. Now, if you don't have the available data, what you have to do, you have to look for other data. Okay, other data. Other data means you can collect the data from the database. You can see in the internet whether someone is having the data set or not. Then you can also use the API. Let's say someone will give you the data, but you have to fetch the data through the API. That time actually what you can do, you can collect the data from the API itself. Okay. Then you can perform something called scraping. That means web scraping. Let's say you don't have the data in database internet API. Then what you can do the web scraping. Okay. Web scraping means you will be scraping the data from a website. Okay. This is the idea. Now there is another possibility. You have no data. That time what you will do? Okay. That time you have to create your own data. Create your own data means either you can collect the data. Okay, either you can do the survey, you can collect the data, or what you can do, you can use large language model to generate the data. Okay, LLM to generate data. Nowadays, actually, you will see people are using OpenAI. Okay, OpenAI GPT model. Okay, GPT model to generate the data. Okay, so with the help of LLM also, you can generate your own data. But whenever you are creating your own data, there is a possibility. Let's say your data will be less. Let's say here I will just write. You have to note. Let's say whenever you are collecting your own data, your data quantity might be less. So that time what you can do? So let me write here. If you have less data, then you can perform data augmentation. I think you know what is data augmentation. Okay. So data augmentation is nothing but you will be augmenting the data. Let's say I'll give you one example. So the first augmentation technique you can perform. So let me give you the example. You can do something called replace. You can do replace with synonyms. Okay. Now, how to do the synonyms? See, let's say here is one example I will give you. Let's say I am a data scientist. Okay. So let's say this is my text. Now, what you can do, you can just replace this synonyms. So here you can write I am a AI engineer. That means you are replacing this particular entity with this entity. So this is called actually replace with synonyms. Okay, this is the idea. I hope you got it. Because here you will be working with textual data mostly. And if you have the image, that time what you can perform? So there are lots of image augmentation technique as well. Let me show you. So you can simply search image augmentation. So there are different technique you can follow. See, let me show you one example. Let's say this is the example I can show you. Let's say this is your original image. So what you can do, you can do the horizontal flip, you can do the vertical flip, you can do the rotation of the image, you can also do the negative rotation, you can do the blur operation, you can change the brightness, you can add some noise, you can add some darker. Okay, so that's how actually you can change the original image. Okay, you can change the original image and make different variants. Okay, this is called actually image data augmentation. Because I already told you, inside GenAI, we use both kinds of data, whether it can be textual data, it can be image data, it can be audio data. Okay, anything actually you can consider here. Now, the next technique you can apply, which is called bigram flip. Bigram flip. Now you can ask me, sir, how to perform bigram flip. See, it's very easy. Let's say I'll give another example. I am Bappy. All right. Now you can write this sentence like that. Bappy is my name. Okay, so this is called actually bigram flip. That's how actually you can also do that data augmentation. Because at the end you are increasing the data. That is the idea. And whenever you are increasing the data, it should have the meaning. It doesn't have the meaning, that means there is no use of the data. So you have to make sure whenever you are performing, these are the technique, this data should have some meaning. I hope you are getting my point. Now, the next thing you can perform, third step you can perform, back translate. Back translate. Now, how to perform back translate? Let me show you. So let me go to my translator. So I'll open the translator. Okay, Google Translator. Let's say here, if I write one sentence, or I can just copy one story. Let's say here, what I will do. Let's say I will copy this text, and here let me paste it. Now you can see it is translating to the Bengali. Now what I will do, I'll copy this Bengali translation, and here the input language, I'll be selecting the Bengali right now. So let me select the Bengali, and I can paste it here. Now here you can select any other language. Let's say I'll select Spanish. Now see Spanish text it is giving. Now let me copy. Okay. Now what I can do again, I can come here. I can paste the Spanish text. And let's say I want to convert to English again. So here, let me select the English. You got your English text. Now, so here, if you see carefully, some of the word would be different. Okay, than your previous actually text you have copied after doing the bigram flip. That means you will be converting a language to another language, that language to another language, then again in your English language. So that's how if you do multiple time translation, you will see some word would be changed. And see, this will work if you have actually lots of text, actually lots of sentence, not like that you are only copied 1 to 2 line. If you have multiple, let's say line, multiple text, that time actually the reflection actually will be able to see. Okay, I'm just only showing you how we can perform the back translation, because there are so many API nowadays inside Python you can use for the back translate. I think translation API is already there. With the help of that, you can do the translation. First of all, let's say you have the English text. First of all, try to translate to the Hindi to, let's say, Spanish to English again. That's how you can do the back translation, and you can increase the data. So this is another amazing data augmentation technique you can follow. Okay, I hope you cleared. The last step actually you can follow something called add additional data or additional noise. How we can add additional noise? Let's say here you have one sentence. I am a data scientist. So with this sentence, you can add one more line. Let's say, I love this job. Okay. So this is your additional data or additional noise you have added, okay, with your data. So again, this is called actually data augmentation technique. And again, it's an amazing technique you can follow, okay, altogether. So these are the steps actually you can perform inside data acquisition, okay. So first of all, try to check whether you have available data or not. If you don't have, try to see the other data. If you don't have, try to create your own data. For this, you can use large language model. Even I will also show you how we can generate your data with the help of large language model. And after generating, let's say if you have less amount of data, in that case you can perform something called data augmentation technique. Inside data augmentation technique, these are the steps you can perform. Okay, so this is the first step of the pipeline. Now let's discuss the second step of the pipeline. Okay, the second step, I think you remember, data pre-processing. So inside data pre-processing, you can perform cleanup operation. Okay, cleanup operation. That means you can remove HTML tags. Then you can remove, let's say, emoji. You can do the spelling check. Okay, spelling correction. Fine. So these are the technique actually you can perform inside cleanup. Now there is another step you can follow called basic pre-processing. I'll tell you what are the basic pre-processing are available. Even I will also show you the practical how you can perform. Then you can also perform something called advanced pre-processing. Because nowadays the application actually we have, let's say ChatGPT, Gemini. So these are the actually advanced application, advanced, let's say large language model. So for this, we have to also perform some advanced pre-processing technique. Okay, let's say whenever I'm having that data nowadays, because let me show you. Let's say if I open my ChatGPT. Okay, if I open the ChatGPT. See, if I give any kinds of emoji nowadays inside ChatGPT, still it will be able to understand. Let's say if I give this haha, okay, haha, let's say emoji. Now if I send it to my ChatGPT, see, it is automatically detecting what's so funny. Okay, so that's kinds of text also we need to handle, because whenever we are collecting the text data, it will have emojis, it will have HTML tags. Okay, so many things it will have. So sometimes it is also necessary to keep the emojis, because I told you now, this kinds of application is advanced. So it is also understand the emojis, any kinds of text. So we also need to handle these are the, let's say, text in that time. Now inside basic pre-processing, let me just write here. Inside basic pre-processing. So inside basic pre-processing, the very important things you have to perform something called tokenization. Okay, so you have two kinds of tokenization. One is called sentence level tokenization. Another one is word level tokenization. So I'll be discussing each and everything, no need to worry. And there are some optional pre-processing are available. So inside optional pre-processing, the first thing you can perform, stop word removal. Okay, stop word removal. Then the second things you can perform something called steaming. And this is like very less used nowadays. Okay, less used actually technique. The third thing, you can perform something called lemmatization. And the lemmatization actually more used. Okay. I'll tell you what is steaming lemmatization whenever I'll show the practical, that time I'll discuss. Then the fourth things, you can perform something called punctuation removal. So punctuation means, let's say you have question symbol, you have dot, you have comma, you have exclamation sign, okay, you have dollar symbol. So these are the things are actually punctuation. So you have to also handle the punctuation. Then you have to perform something called lowercase. Then the sixth, you can perform something called language detection. Because nowadays, if you open the chat GPT or Gemini, if you give any kinds of language, it will first of all detect in which language you are asking the question. Based on that, it will give you the reply, okay, in the same language. So they are also applying this language detection technique, okay, in the backend. So that's actually one real world product implement. Okay, it's not like that you are getting the data, you are directly applying the model. It's not like that. So you have to follow the entire pipeline to build the end-to-end software. Okay, that's why I'm showing you these are the pipeline. Why this generative AI pipeline is super important, and what are the steps are involved, okay, inside the pipeline, so that after learning it, it would be easy for you to develop any kinds of software in future. And this is my promise. If you understand this, okay, if you can do this, you can design any kinds of software in future. Okay, because what is generative AI? Generative AI is nothing but just a technology. So you have to use the technology. You have to learn how to use the large language model, how to prepare the data for the large language model. Okay, how to use, let's say, a LangChain, how to use vector database. You have to connect everything together. Then you have to build one application. That is the idea only. But the root things available inside the pipeline, how you're designing the pipeline, whether pipeline has all the steps available or not. I hope you're getting my point, right? So now I think these are the steps are clear. But I think some of them still you are getting confused, like what is steaming, what is, let's say, lemmatization, what is, let's say, why we have to perform the lowercase operation, and what is this tokenization. See, let me just discuss all of them one by one. So first of all, let me discuss the tokenization. That means, let's say you are having a sentence here. Let's say my name is Bappi. So this is a sentence, right? This is a complete sentence, right? So whenever I will be converting this sentence to number, that means vector representation, first of all, I have to actually do the tokenization. Tokenization means you will be taking the individual words, let's say like that, my, comma, name, okay, comma, is, comma, Bappi. This is called actually word level tokenization. Okay, word level tokenization. Okay, that means you had one complete sentence, you just did the tokenization and you got the word as a token, okay, everywhere. Now you can take the word and you can convert to number. There are some technique we can follow. I'll tell you those are the technique, what are the technique you can follow to convert your text to number representation. Okay, and there is another technique called let's say sentence level tokenization. Let's say you are having a sentence like that. Let's say my name is Bappi. I am a data scientist. Okay, now if I perform sentence level tokenization, so sentence wise actually I have to convert. So it will come like that. My name is Bappi. So this is my one token, then comma, then I am a data scientist. Okay, this is another token. That means two token I'm having in the list. Okay, this is called actually sentence level tokenization. Sentence level tokenization. Okay, so we'll be using this word level tokenization a lot. Sentence level you can also use. Sometimes you have to use sentence level tokenization. Sometimes you'll be using word level tokenization. But most of the application I saw, people are using word level tokenization. That is the idea. So this is what actually our tokenization. Okay, now let's try to understand what is steaming. See, steaming is nothing but you are bringing one word in a root form. Let's say here we are having three kinds of word: play, played, and playing. So if you see them carefully, meaning are same, yes or no? Meaning are same, only the word representation is different. Now instead of taking actually three, okay, separately, what I can do, I can convert in a root form. So root form is nothing but play. Okay, because play represents sports. Okay, sports. So this is called actually stemming. That means you have different actually word form, that means different verb form, and you are trying to bring in a root representation. Okay, this is called actually stemming. And again, it's important because it will reduce the dimension. Okay, it will reduce the dimension whenever, let's say, you will be converting your data to the vector representation. Because if you have 3 word, so it will create actually 3 dimensions separately. But if you convert it to one, let's say word only, so it will only have 1 dimensional. And we know that inside artificial intelligence, dimension is like the issue. So if you have, let's say, more dimension, that time your model will get confused, because there is a concept of curse of dimensionality. So you have to also take care about the dimension. Okay, that's why we perform this stemming operation. And lemmatization is the same. Okay, the way actually perform the stemming, lemmatization is also same. Only whenever you will perform the lemmatization, your root meaning of the word would be readable. But whenever you will perform actually, let's say, stemming, sometimes it won't be readable. I'll tell you whenever I'll do the practical of it, that time actually will get it. Okay, what I'm trying to say. That is the idea. Now you can ask me what is lower casing. Okay, because punctuation you already know. Now you can ask me why lower casing is important. Why you have to perform the lowercase operation. Let's say if I write 2 sentence, Bappy is very good boy and Bappy is a data scientist. Let's say these kinds of sentence we are having. Now here you can see, I think Bappy and Bappy, both name are same, but here you can see the first character it's a capital one, the second character it's a lower one. So as a human actually you can consider these 2 Bappy are same, but whenever you will be passing to the model, that means in your computer will be considering these 2 word is a different word, because here you are using capital and here you are using lowercase character, because all the character is having their ASCII value, right? That means the ASCII code, Unicode. So with the help of that, it will consider these 2 words are separate. So that time, this Bappy would be different, this Bappy would be different, although they are same. Okay, this is another issue. So that's why we perform lowercase operation. So whenever actually we are having the uppercase, we'll try to convert to the lowercase. Okay, we'll try to convert. So let me show you. We'll try to convert to the lowercase. Okay, so this is now you can see this Bappy and this Bappy will become same. Okay, now if you pass to the computer also, your computer will identify this Bappy and this Bappy is the same right now. Okay, so that's why we perform the lowercase operation, so that my model won't be getting the confused. Okay, this is the idea. So I think most of the things I clarified, and yeah, so everything I'll show you as a practical as well, how we can perform as a practical. I'll discuss it. Okay, no need to worry. Now apart from basic pre-processing, I also told you we have something called advanced pre-processing as well. Now let's try to see what are the steps are involved inside advanced pre-processing. So inside advanced pre-processing, we have something called parts of speech tagging. Parts of speech tagging. So if you're good with English grammar, I think you know what is parts of speech. Okay, then you are also having something called parsing. Then you have something called co-reference. Okay, co-reference resolution. Now if you want to understand them, let me show you one image. I think then this part would be clear. So guys, I think you can see this image. So here you can see this is the input text we are having. Chaplin wrote, directed and composed the music of for the most of his film. Now if I perform tokenization and lemmatization, so I already told you what is tokenization. You will be taking individual words. See, here I have taken individual word here. And if you perform the lemmatization means it will bring the let's say any kinds of verb in a root word. Now you can see wrote. If I bring to the root word, it will be write. Directed, it would be direct. Okay, then compose, it would be compose. So that's how actually you can understand the tokenization and lemmatization. Now what is POS tagging? POS tagging means parts of speech tagging, the things I showed you in my advanced pre-processing. So this is what actually parts of speech tagging. That means you are assigning what is noun, what is verb, what is adjective. Okay, so that's how you are defining different kinds of parts of speech. If you're good with grammar, I think you will be understanding better than me. Just try to consider here you are tagging everything. That means you are tagging all the, let's say, noun, verb, okay, then pronoun, everything you are tagging. Now there is another one called parsing. Okay, I think I showed you parsing. So this is the parsing tree. That means you will be creating a tree, and inside this tree you will have the entire sentence word. You can see Chaplin wrote, directed, okay, all the words. So in the parts tree you will be again assigning the POS tagging. Apart from that, you will be also dividing. These are the word in a separate form. Again, this is a advanced actually grammatical rules you have to learn, but no need to worry. Let's say whenever you will be working in the industry, there you will have something called domain expertise. Okay, let's say language expertise actually people you will get, so they will help you to do it. Because I know as a developer, you don't know about, let's say, this English grammar and all, but whenever you will be designing the software, that time language expert will help you. Okay, how we can perform the parsing, how we can perform the POS tagging, everything they will help you out. Now this is the last example, co-reference resolution. So co-reference resolution means, let's say Chaplin wrote, directed and composed the music for the most of his film. Now here Chaplin and his, it is indicating the both person, it is indicating the same person, right? So this is called actually co-reference resolution. Sometimes your model has to understand this Chaplin and his, so it is mentioning the both, it is mentioning the same person. Okay, so this is called actually co-reference resolution, because nowadays if you see the Chat GPT, Gemini, so these kinds of application is able to understand, okay, this kinds of input, this kinds of prompt. Okay, so in the backend actually they're handling like that. I hope it is clear now. Then the third actually step were available inside generative AI pipeline, which is nothing but feature engineering. Feature engineering. So inside feature engineering, you can perform text vectorization. So to perform the text vectorization, you can follow some technique like you have TF-IDF, you have something called bag of word, you have something called word to vec. You can also perform something called one-hot encoding. Then you can also use some transformers model to perform the text vectorization as well, because these are the very old technique. So if you are using any deep learning and machine learning model, that time you can use these are the technique. But if you are creating advanced application, like let's say if you are using large language model, transformer based architecture, like say encoder and decoder architecture, that time you have to use transformer model to perform the text vectorization technique. Okay, I hope it is clear. So these are the steps that are available inside feature engineering. So inside feature engineering, you will just try to convert your text to vector representation. It can be also work with the image as well. Let's say you are having an image. Okay, let's say you are having an image, and in that image actually you are having a cat image. Let's say this is a cat. Let's say this is a cat. Okay, now image is nothing but it's a pixel. So if you just see the image, so here you will see different pixel value. Okay, different pixel value. So that time what you can do, you can use any kinds of vision transformer model to convert this image to the vector representation. Okay, vector representation, and you can pass to the model. Okay, so that is the idea. Now fourth step actually I think you saw, after feature engineering you can do the modeling. Okay, modeling means you'll be training the model. That means you'll feed the data to the model. Okay, so here you can choose different model. You can choose actually different kinds of model. So here you can either use open source, okay, open source LLM, that means large language model. Either you can use paid one, okay, paid model. So what is the difference between open source and paid? See, if you're using paid one, this model would be available in the server. That means you don't need to download this model in your machine. Okay, so you don't need to download. Instead of that, what you will do, you will only, let's say, pass the data. Okay, let's say you are using OpenAI, because I think you know OpenAI provides actually paid model. That's a GPT model. So in OpenAI, you will upload your data, and in their server, it will train the model. Okay, you don't need to download the model in your machine, and you don't need to train there, because I know that people won't be having good GPU in their system. Okay, it's not possible actually to buy expensive GPU for training these kinds of large language model, because if you see this large language model, it's very huge. Okay, if you see the parameter size is very huge, so we can't download in our machine and we can train it. It's not possible. So that's why most of the time we'll be using cloud platform to train the model. Okay, so that time actually we can use the paid model, because paid model, if you're using paid platform, if you're using everything, they will take care. Only you have to upload your data there. But if you're using open source large language model, that time you have to download this model in your machine. You have to prepare everything. You have to set up the environment, and then you have to train the model. And for this, you need a good GPU. Okay, good GPU, good CPU, good memory. Okay, everything you need. And after training this model, you have to deploy this model in a cloud platform. Okay, manually you have to deploy this model in a cloud platform, and again you will get the challenges there. Like you have to buy a good instance, then you have to set up the load balancing and all. Okay, then you have to deploy this particular model. But if you're using cloud platform, they directly will get one option to deploy the model in their server only. Okay, so that people can access the model in their platform only. Okay, so you don't need to take care about the infrastructure, you don't need to take care about the instance, everything they will take care. That is the difference. Got it? We'll be also understanding how we can use paid model, how we can use open source model, and I will also discuss the difficulty level actually you will be getting whenever you will be using open source LLM, whenever you will be using, let's say, paid LLM. Everything I'll try to clarify, no need to worry. Train your model, you have to perform something called model evaluation. Okay, evaluation. So inside evaluation, you have to perform two kinds of evaluation. One is like intrinsic evaluation, and that is like extrinsic evaluation. So intrinsic evaluation means you will be using some metrics. Okay, you will be using some metrics to evaluate the model. I think you know we are having different metrics for the evaluation. Let's say we are having accuracy score, RT score, then we are having AOC curve. So these are the different metrics we are having. Okay, so after training a model, you have to perform something called intrinsic evaluation, and this is performed by this evaluation will perform by the GenAI engineer. Okay, GenAI engineer, because they are training the model, and after training the model, they have to actually evaluate the model with the help of these are the matrices. And the extensive evaluation part when they have to perform after doing the deployment. Okay, after doing the deployment. So this evaluation can be applied during the production. Okay, let's say whenever this model is in the production, people are using it. At that time, this extensive evaluation can be performed. Let's say I already told you, ChatGPT will launch one input. Sometimes it will ask you give the feedback. Not only ChatGPT, if you see any kinds of application. So if you just consider your phone keyboard, so whenever you use the keyboard, okay, so initially I think you won't be getting any kind of suggestion, but whenever you will be using that particular keyboard, okay, long time, then you will see that automatically you will get the suggestion, because it is learning. Okay, what kinds of input you are giving, it is learning, and sometimes it will ask for one kinds of feedback, whether you are enjoying this app or not. Okay, any feedback you want to give or not. And whenever you are giving the feedback, whenever you are giving the 5 rating, 4 rating, that time actually they are getting this application is working fine, there is no issue. But whenever you are giving negative feedback, that time they're getting actually there is some issue with the application. That time what they will do again, they will retrain the model. Okay, they will retrain the model, and they will again push the model through the production. Okay, so that's how extensive evaluation works. That means after deployment, after going to the production, okay, after going to the production of that model, you will be performing this particular extensive evaluation. This is the idea. And the sixth, I told you, you have to perform deployment. Okay, deployment. And inside deployment, you will be also doing the monitoring and retraining. Okay, retraining, because you will be doing the monitoring in the extensive evaluation, and if something going wrong, you'll be doing the retraining of the model. This is the idea. So these things are involved inside so the entire generative AI pipeline. I hope it is clear. So first of all, data acquisition, then data preparation, then feature engineering, modeling, evaluation, and deployment. And here one thing you have to remember, because going forward I'll be using this term a lot. So let me just write here a common term. Let me copy this text and let me paste here. Let's say this is my data. Now here you will see some of the actually, let's say, common term. The first term actually we'll see called corpus. Okay, corpus. Then the second term you will see, which is nothing but vocabulary. And the third term you will see, which is nothing but documents. And the fourth you will see something called word. Okay, word. Now what is corpus? Corpus is nothing but the entire text. Entire text. That means the entire text is called corpus. Okay. And what is vocabulary? Unique word. Unique word. Now you can see this is unique word, this is unique word, this is unique word, this is unique word, this is unique word. Okay. So these are the word is unique. And if you see any of the word is coming duplicates, only you have to take the unique word. Okay. This is called actually vocabulary. Okay. Then what is documents? Document is nothing but one row. That means one line only. So till here actually one documents. D1. then this is called actually D2. Okay, D2, then D3. So this is called actually documents. So I can write one line. Okay, one line is the documents. Okay, or one row. And what is what? What is like thus single word. Okay, single word is called word. So you can see this is a single word, this is a single word, this is called actually word. So these are the common term you have to remember, because going forward, whenever we'll be actually playing with the data, that time actually I may tell you these are the actually common term. Okay, that time you won't be getting confused. What is corpus, what is vocabulary, what is documents, what is word. Okay, that's fine. So that's why I showed you, okay, here in this video. So yes guys, these are the actually generative AI pipeline, and here I have just showed you as a theoretical. So in the next video, we'll be doing the practical of it, like how we can perform different text cleaning technique, like different text preprocessing technique. After that, we'll also see how we can perform feature engineering technique as well. Okay, different feature engineering technique. Because what I feel like, before starting with our large language model, first of all, we have to understand the data. First of all, we have to know how to prepare the data for the model. Okay, then we'll be starting with the large language model. Okay, so this thing actually is thing actually very important before learning your generative AI, before learning the large language model and application building. So that's why I'm teaching you this part, okay, right now. So yes, this is all about from this video. I hope you liked it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.